Okay, so we're experiencing technical difficulties. We cannot hear people who are watching the broadcast. They can hear us. We have an indication via the chat window that we have a member of the public joining the meeting. And we'll monitor any questions they might have via the chat window, and I'll convene the meeting at 7:36. And if there's any public comment from iPad 2, please let us know if you have any comments. If I see no chat, that indicates to me that we'll go ahead and proceed. Minutes approval. I have copies of revised and updated minutes from June 13th. And July 11th. But I do not have the updated meeting minutes from 9 May. And one of the reasons why is because when I went to look at the transcript, it was significantly different than what I thought it was going to be. And I'm gonna I have begun to watch the video of our 9 May meeting, and I will prepare meeting minutes based on that review of the 9 May meeting via the videotape. So with that, I'd like for us to approve the meeting minutes from 13 June and the minutes from 11 July. And we'll get to the 9 May meeting in September. I'll have copies of that. I'll give everyone a few moments just to kind of look at those. I made a few changes in the 9th and the 13th June based on Richard's comments and my comments. So hopefully that meets your needs, Richard. Obviously, I've incorporated my changes into the 13th June meeting. Okay, so let me know when you're ready to make, for there to be a motion and a vote.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Third, yeah. All right. All those in favor of approving the meeting minutes as presented and as amended, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so June and July meeting minutes are approved, and I'll deliver 9 May meeting minutes at our September meeting. I have received no formal correspondence from anybody recently, but I received, as part of being a part of the Massachusetts Preservation email list, a really interesting and a very detailed NPS directive or guidance document related to building codes and historic preservation. I know, Richard, you're on that list. I don't know whether you had a chance to download that document.
I didn't see that, no.
It's pretty extensive. And what I'm gonna do, I've downloaded it. I'll distribute it to 3 of you separately. It's probably one of the best pieces of information related to how you take all of the building codes that are, applied to all 50 states, turn that process of having approved building code designs meet historic preservation requirements and objectives. I'm also going to send a copy of that to Brian Gingras, and I'm not sure if he gets any of that information to his normal building code channels, but there was a lot of information in that. So that piece of correspondence I found was pretty helpful, pretty interesting.
Should Chris Ruth have that too?
That's a good suggestion. I'll send that to him as well.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like do we have a we have a space on the town website or something for the APDC and.
We do, but it's pretty complicated. And I would rather, like, we could maybe put a short summary to say, that this document exists and if you're interested.
Yeah, I was just thinking maybe we could put like a download link. Yeah, maybe there's resources like this that are good for people who want to dig in deeper.
Yeah,
There might be we could maybe just put it there and people can download it.
okay. I'll see what I can do,
And
but
that came from the historical,
the Massachusetts Historic Preservation Office. They sent, this is part of the email subscription that you can sign up for, and it provides, lots of good information about how historic preservation issues are being dealt with across the state. Okay, let's see, moving along. Let's talk about our most current submission for 985 Massachusetts Avenue. First of all, I understood from talking with Richard that the zip folder wasn't openable. So I sent out what I thought were the critical pieces. And basically, they've gone through the determination of applicability route. They've sent in, and what they said in their determination of applicability is that they intend to use like materials for their repairs, and that they submitted a copy of the historic photo, and they indicated that they were going to comply with that historic photo. So given that information, I told Brian Gingras that we would be meeting tonight. I says, but I also think that the homeowner can proceed. The front porch, apparently, the two primary supports that were underneath the columns and hidden from view gave way, and one of the columns started to lean. So they've removed all of the material associated with the front porch deck. And they've propped up the roof structure to the entry to the house. And that's the way it stands today. And then they're proceeding with submitting their drawings to Brian for their building permit. But given their commitment in the DOA that they're going to use like materials and that they're going to follow the historic photo, I think it's appropriate for us to go ahead and approve the determination of applicability for the work to proceed. So with that, I'll ask for a motion to approve the DOA.
I make a motion to approve that. DOA.
Nathan,
Second.
second. Okay, is there any further discussion, any questions?
Reviewed the photographs. It seems to be the appropriate thing to do.
Yeah. You know, what's interesting is, I think the house was built in 1938, according to the stats that are on the town's assessor website for properties. And it looks like what was currently in front of the porch, concrete steps, wrought iron handrails, was not part of the original house construction based on a historic photo. So my guess is that sometime in the past, there's been work done on that. If they return it to what was in the historic photo, I think that would be a plus to the look of the house, because it's much more attractive than the wrought iron railing stuck down in the concrete steps. If they replicate what's there today, then, we really don't have any control over that, because there's already been modification work done to the entryway. So with that, I will send back that signed determination of applicability to Brian. I am gonna ask him to make sure that when he gets the complete set of drawings associated with the building permit, that he'll alert us if there's any significant change in the drawings versus what the historic photo shows. So.
Good.
And if iPad 2 is the individual who lives at 985 Mass Avenue, I would hope that that meets, our approval meets with your satisfaction and that the work can proceed quickly. It's no fun not having a front door to get in and out of the house. And it's my understanding that Brian did, indicate to the homeowner that because it was gonna be unsafe, not to use that as an entryway. All right, so that takes care of 985, termination of applicability. So the next item that's on this agenda is the discussion of our notification letter. You know, the way we left our meeting in July was that we were going to wait to see what a revised bylaw might look like as drafted by Nathan. And then, once we had that discussion, then we would make a final determination as to whether to send out the letter to the homes, to property owners that live in the APD saying, hey, there's a bylaw, there are design guidelines. Come see us if you have questions. So Nathan, have you had a chance to work on the bylaw?
A little bit, not a lot.
Okay.
I think it is, you guys indicated, actually, I think it's more. I gotta finish reviewing the bylaw in more detail, but it may turn out that it is more the guidelines, that the bylaws in better shape than I surmised. And it's really the guidelines that may just need the clarification. So I would say, you know, so sort of related discussion, I think going into town meeting, like what kind of business are we planning to bring forward? I think related to the APDC. Even if we don't change the bylaws, guidelines, it's not a town meeting thing, like that's
Right.
more of a, right, so that's a separate issue. I think the most pressing thing related to the bylaw would be at least some kind of extension, as we've talked about.
Expanding it?
Yeah. I think for, you know, to get it in for this one, I think we should just look at the expansion to the intersection of Chestnut and Mass Ave there, you know, take it down to there. But we've talked about a bunch of other things as well. So long story short, yeah, my preference would be to hold off on the communication, but you know, I'm one vote out of 4 here. So that's, yeah. That's my recommendation. And then, but do revisit it in the new year, basically, after the town meeting. Town meeting's in November, right?
Yeah. Okay, so is there a motion to send out the letter notification to property owners of the Architectural Preservation District?
I make a motion to send out the information letter. Second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Wait, any further discussion? I'm sorry. Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Nathan, do you want to take a position?
That's okay, no, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not looking, I think we can agree to disagree, and I don't think
Okay.
the world's gonna end.
No, I would agree with that. Okay, so,
That helped.
so what I'm gonna do is that, I'll reach out to the assessor's office to determine how we get the list of, names and, for the mailing addresses, so we get that done. And then, find out how we pay for postage and, you know, how that whole process would work. So I will keep you posted on that particular process. I'm going to go ahead and clean up the letter, clean up the attachments, and I will send that out to all of you before we actually get this thing in the mail. And if there's any wordsmithing that needs to be done, we would have to wait, I think, until our meeting in September. So just keep that in mind when you review it, and I'll try and make the letter, you know, I've shared with you already a draft, and no one had any, I think, major comments. And William has given me a copy of, I got
Very rough draft.
a little rough draft of a brochure, which we might include in this, so.
I apologize for my crappy printer.
I highly recommend, the HP, monthly printing, ink program.
So I'm
done with HP. I
Really?
have an HP now, they stopped making the print heads for it, so now I have to buy a new one.
Too bad.
That's it.
Okay,
I'll go with Shaq, I'll go with the other one. I don't know what his brand is,
Brother,
brother, yeah.
there you go.
all right, so, let's go through the, old business, preservation of the Brooks House. Any movement on that, Nathan?
Here's what I would like to run by folks,
Okay.
so, I would, I think what I would like to propose is that, and I can do this, or someone else can do this, but basically explore with, draft, I think simpler the better, right? Like, we can draft up something for the warrant that basically instructs the select board to arrange and direct the sale of the Brooks House in a small plot, maybe including, whatever parking spaces for at least X number of spaces for private use, consistent with the village district bylaw. We want by the parking spots, we want to be consistent with the commercial use, which is in some folks. And then, maybe we add some recommendations to some conditions that, something that sale, but that's it. I don't think it has to be a big fancy thing on our end. I think it's basically just us putting some of the warrants that the town can instruct, and maybe say they have to have it done, the sale has to be completed within a year, something like that.
Okay. Comments? Richard?
I think it's a great idea. We could use the historical commission was involved with selling the Jones House. We could use that as a model.
Oh, great. Do you have any write-up or something on that? Just,
I'll dig up the paperwork and
Where's the Johnsons?
make a copy of the Burbank House, Captain Jones House.
Oh. Did the town want some now?
Yeah.
Did they
Yeah,
really?
they rented it for years, like for 20 years to the same people. And it was just let go, it was just getting more and more run down and the historical commission advocated for the sale of it. And that went through with covenants, and then we had to inspect, the new owners had to meet the preservation covenants that we specified in order to keep the house.
This obviously precedes the existence of the APD and the APDC, correct?
Yeah.
Okay,
but they were able to, so they had these, covenant restrictions, but they also, the price that they were able to purchase it for at auction was what, 40K?
I think it was 54,000.
54,000
Yeah.
for, like, we're talking like a 2,400 square foot house, I guess.
Yeah, didn't need an awful lot of work. The lady that lives there now was the owner. And her husband.
interesting, didn't realize that. Well, that gives us kind of a roadmap to follow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Save the house.
And, the one thing that kind of popped in my mind is that, would the Lunenburg Municipal Building Design Committee, cause the select board to work with the committee, cause the select board to say, well, that committee's work hasn't been completely finished, so we don't wanna do that until that's been done. And because it's been part of this matrix of actions and proposed actions that the committee has not yet fully briefed the town on. They were gonna do that at the November special town meeting, but because of how long the meeting had gone, a decision was made not to do that.
I think, so that's a good point. I think we should probably have somebody reach out to that committee to notify them to discuss with them our intent.
Yeah.
Okay, that'd be
Because
great.
I'm representing our interests on that.
Oh, perfect. If you could do that, just have that conversation with them.
Yeah,
Say, we don't. Get their thoughts and, going into it, we have to go in open to listening to what they have to say.
right.
It's hard for me to imagine how that has any earth shattering impact on their overall, master plan for whatever.
We'll do that.
Okay, so you're gonna
Yeah.
talk to them, okay. Would we like I don't know if we need a motion to authorize one of us to talk to the town council or? about moving this forward?
I'll entertain a motion.
Okay, I move that, myself or someone else, if they would like, engages with town council to, we authorize them to engage with town council to figure out the best way to execute this intent of, putting this on the warrant.
Second,
Second,
any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
I,
I actually think the Lunenburg Municipal Building Design Committee will be pleased to know that we're gonna propose that. We'll see.
Yeah, sometimes it's good when someone, just takes charge of the problem. for us.
that house has been floating for a long time.
Yeah, and, the condition of the house is getting worse instead of better. Brian Gingrich said, is banned the use of the exterior stairs because of the condition. And, he sent a copy of that email to me. I think he was sending that to the town manager as well as to, I think school officials have stuff in there. So the sooner we get something done, the better off that house is.
Totally.
Yeah. I know one of the issues will be, do we really wanna have, the town give up that piece of property? Cause one of the things that had been discussed was we need more parking for, athletic events, school events, high school events. And, and there's no driveway, there's no dedicated driveway, there's no space for a parking lot, so on and so forth. But there's ways of capturing more space over there.
There's a lot, there's still a lot of opportunities to capture their space.
There used to be a driveway when the barn was there. When there was meetings there, you would park in the driveway.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy, that's easy to do.
And there's still actually decent parking through the library for
Yeah.
that lot, which,
And they could cover the current stormwater retention pond with, an underground structure that would allow that to be captured for.
yeah, I guess so. I mean, that could get pretty.
It's actually pretty cheap.
Really, wow.
Yeah, they use gigantic preformed
Instead
plastic.
of just concrete rebar.
Well, no, they actually use these, specially designed concrete, or plastic, corrugated pipe half sections. And you link them together and, set gravel in there, and then you find out where your offload is. It's real, like I said,
Leach.
I've done this in two different, projects, and it's really incredibly easy to do and fairly inexpensive. So, okay. Richard, anything on the status of 763 Mass Avenue?
I met with Brian Gingras, he said that, he's not heard anything about it. He said the developer has a number of projects in the town that's going on and that, he just might be too busy to, be doing anything with that right now.
Okay,
But he was still planning on purchasing that property.
okay. All right, I have no updates on this, on town hall or road repair projects.
I'm sorry, I was making a note, what was this, who's planning to?
The funeral home.
So what's the status of that?
The developer's still, and I don't know, holding an interest in it. And, he has a number of projects in town, he's doing the project down the
Yeah.
street, he's doing Stone Farm. I guess he's got a couple other projects in
Okay,
town.
so he hasn't
He hasn't done
selling.
anything, it's in demo delay, he hasn't provided the historical commission. With his, bi-monthly reports on what he's doing to, sell the property, so the demo delay.
Keeps extending.
Bylaw keeps, adding every day that we don't receive it, every
Okay.
day to the, demo delay.
Okay.
One of the things I did note was that the town did recently put out for bid a couple of projects. One was the detailed planning for Marshall Park and roof replacement at the adult activity center. So I know that there's some bidding work going on, now we just gotta make sure that we get the Ritter and Town Hall projects moved into that queue. You know, I think it was the July meeting, I had made a commitment that I was gonna meet with the new select board chair, Cesar Nuzello. And I haven't done that yet, but I've been fairly busy, but my plan is that by the time we get to our September meeting, I will have had that meeting. And I wanna convey our collective concern about the lack of activity associated with both Town Hall and Ritter. I believe the chimney on Town Hall is moving again, Richard. If you have a chance, take a peek
Is
at it.
what, sorry.
It's going like this.
Oh, moving, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, you know, so, and then, of course, you know, we're still dealing with the same weather, you know, conditions affecting the Ritter with windows and paint and masonry and rubber line roofs or gutter systems. And, you know, the town is neglecting these buildings, and I think that doesn't set a good example, which leads us to, so I'm gonna make sure that our new select board chair knows our concerns. And hopefully he can move that forward. Now, you know, we have an interim town manager, you know, we have the town pursuing to find a new town manager. And I know all the select board members are pretty daggone busy with that. So I don't necessarily expect we're gonna get a report in September that says all those, the two projects are going out for bid. But the one thing that I really would love to see is a revised estimate, because that's key to any successful bid. And we have not seen any progress made to get that done. All right, 50 Main Street, anything new there? Has anybody seen anything happening?
What's
That's the.
yeah, I spoke with one of the owners yesterday, no, last week, no, earlier this week, Monday or Tuesday. And they were out for most of the summer, but I've given them someone to call, and they're gonna call in the next couple of weeks,
Okay.
so we should hear about that.
Did they lose one of their tenants? Do you know?
I don't know. I've seen some.
The one
different
moved
people.
across the street.
Yeah, it seems like that
Yeah.
one van is in front of the church, now it's next to town hall.
The security camera one moved across the street into the old law office.
Yeah, the old Gilman Law Office.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay, all right, we're just gonna keep an eye on that one too. It's not on the agenda and it's actually kind of old business, but maybe forgotten business. When we, I've been waiting for the announcement was when town council is available. He was available, like I got a note from Annie Aubrey that said, oh, town council is available tomorrow. And I was like, I can't go there tomorrow. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send Ann a note that says, when do you anticipate that there will be town council hours?
Mhm.
And I will reserve the town council time,
Okay,
all right, for both the Brooks House discussion.
that sounds great.
And then I also want to talk to him about merging the historical commission and the APDC.
Oh, good,
So,
good.
Yeah, I think that that's complicated, the whole, because we have a bylaw, the historical commission uses state law to guide their activities. And I'm concerned that merging those two into a single piece might create more issues than what we would imagine. So
Right,
I think that town council reviewing how to make that work, you know, knowing what all the laws are at state level versus what our law is at the local level is key and essential to making progress in this.
okay,
And, you know, my hope is that we can have fewer commissions and committees, not more. So. So I'll take the lead on finding out, when we can meet with town council. We'll have a
Yeah.
full conversation.
I'm gonna be out of town, next week and possibly through Monday, the
Okay.
following Monday, just a heads up, that's.
I don't think it's gonna happen, I can't do it next week either.
Okay,
I'm thinking if we could just get some ideas of when he would be available in September, that'd be really helpful.
cool.
Okay. All right, anything else need to come before us? All right, I will have meeting minutes for 9 May for us to vote on. William, you'll do meeting minutes from tonight.
Yep.
And then our next meeting is scheduled for the 12th of September. And is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All right, second.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. All
Aye.
right, we're done. It is 8:05. That's pretty quick.
Started late, but early finish.
Yeah.
I've had two still hanging with us here.